Hey there, Joel here and welcome to my channel Math World. Today is the fourth video of this series, that is financial literacy, and I hope you have watched the previous three videos. If you haven't, then please go ahead and watch those videos as well. Last week we learned about what is the difference between a need and a want and how we can try to minimize the wants and save better. Today's video, we're going to learn something which is very basic and you have probably experienced it in your life too. So let me give you that example. So, there is one father and he gives around 500 rupees as pocket money to his two children, and one of them is Rio, the other one is Tina. And both of them are of the same age, so both of them get 500 rupee each. And everything with them is common except the way they spend the money. Okay, so let us see what and how do they spend the money. So start of the month, okay, they get 500 each, and Rio, okay, who's the boy, he loves to travel by bus to go to school, but Tina on the other hand has an old cycle which she uses to reach the school. So both of them travel differently to the same school. Rio travels by bus and Tina travels by cycle. So in the process, Rio spends around 150 rupees per month as his bus fare. So it can't be free, right? So he has to give some money. So he gives around 150 rupees, that's the charge. And then he goes to school comfortably, sitting in the bus, relaxing, chit-chatting with his friends, and so on. So he spends around 150 rupees every month. By this time, Rio is already left with only 350 rupees, and Tina has not spent as yet anything. So she has the entire 500 rupee with her. Rio loves to eat canteen food. So he goes in the canteen and enjoys the burgers and chicken roll and batat vadas and whatever you can think of, soft drinks. And he spends around 300 rupees in the entire month as his canteen food. Whereas Tina, on the other hand, whatever her mother prepares in the morning, she uses chapati or maybe fruits or something, and she takes as a snack during the recess. So she doesn't pay anything. By now, Rio is just left with 50 rupees, whereas Tina still having 500 rupees with her. And Rio is a regular customer in the cyber cafe or wherever he goes to play. So he spends around 50 rupees in a month, okay, which is less, but he does that, and he enjoys going and playing computer and video games in a cyber cafe. Okay, so wherever he can spend or whatever game he wants to play, he wants to buy, he spends that 50 rupees in a month, okay, as whatever he was left with him. And Tina, on the other hand, to spend her time in leisure, she buys some books and she reads them. So she spends around 200 rupees in a month to buy some books and saves, or she's left with 300 rupees with her. Whereas Rio is left with 0 rupees. He doesn't have anything left with him because spend everything, right? To travel and to eat and all the enjoyments and luxury of life, whatever he can do it at that point of time, at that age, he's doing it. And finally he's left with nothing because he's thinking, next month my dad is going to give me again another 500 rupees. So I have all the money that I can spend the next month. So at the end of the month, Rio is left with no money, whereas Tina is left with 300 rupees with her. Okay. Now the next month starts and her father comes back and then he gives them again another 500 rupees as pocket money. So Rio starts his account back again with 500, whereas Tina starts her total account with 800 because 300 rupees that she has kept with her and more 500 adds on to it. So total becomes 800. And what exactly is this? Is budgeting. So is something which is very important. If you don't know how much and what and where to spend, then this kind of a situation will become like yours and mine, like Rio. So let us see how we can avoid overspending and know where to spend and how much to spend. So basically, what is a budget? Okay, if you just Google this, a budget is a financial plan defined for a defined period of time. So here in the previous example, the budget, the period of time was 30 days because 1 month, right? And the amount that was there were 500. So that is the, you can say, capital, and how much to spend. So what's the plan, right? I have 500 with me. How much, you will definitely have a plan, like how much I will spend, what I will do. So that's called a budget. So whatever you plan. Now, two things that you need to find out for me, and then you can write it in the comment section, is who's the finance minister of India and when was the last budget presented. So take a time, find these answers and write it in the comment section. I would love to read your answer. And till now, if you're liking this video, then please don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Okay, so why is budget important? It gets a balance in one's life. Okay, so if I don't have a budget, then I will end up spending, okay, whatever I like that, I like this, I like that, and I will end up spending money everywhere. Next, it helps to plan and spend wisely. Because you have written down your plan where exactly I'm going to spend, it helps you to spend the money wisely. It's not like I will look anything and I will like and I will just spend, but I have a plan. Okay, I need to buy this, so I need to keep my money to actually buy that whatever you have planned. Okay, so it helps you to spend wisely. You just not randomly spend money, but you plan it when you're spending. Next, it avoids overspending. You will not land up, okay, I have money, I will just buy this, I will buy that, I will buy this, and I will buy that. Because if you don't have a plan, then you will end up everything that you see, you feel like I want it. Okay, want, you remember the previous lecture, want and need. Okay, so this is what happens. You tend to overspend. And the last point, which is very important, which budget helps, okay, is keep a track of the flow of money. Sometimes it so happens that you have some money, and then end of the month, this is what happens. And not just to you as a child, but even to adults, it does happen that this kind of a situation happens when you don't have a budget. So you don't have plan where do you want to spend, and you just end up spending money anywhere for anything and everything. Okay, so once a brief go through, so it gets balance in one's life, it helps you to plan and spend wisely, it avoids overspending, and it keeps a track of the flow of money. Okay, so let us take another example. Fareen, okay, works part-time in a greeting card company, okay, and she earns 15,000 in a month. Good money, right? So just for a part-time job, she earns that much. Okay, now when she joins the job and she knows that she's going to get 15,000, she makes a list, she makes a budget. Okay, and since she is not staying at her home and she's staying somewhere in rent, she has to pay around 4,500. So she writes that, okay, my rent will cost me 4,500. I need to travel to the workplace, so I will spend around 2,000, and maybe some recharges for the phone that she will do because she has to talk to her parents and friends. So she spends around 1,000. She's keeping all this writing and keeping a track. Okay, for food, she will have to maybe buy some groceries and prepare some food, or maybe someday go out to eat. So she's planning that I will spend 2,500, 1,500 maybe to buy some clothes, 1,000 for some entertainment. Maybe she might go for a movie or do whatever leisure that she wants to do. 500 for some soaps and toothpaste and all the other products that she wants to buy. And finally, 2,000 that she plans to save. So this is the entire plan that she has in her mind. She writes it down, start of the month, and end of the month she gets her salary. Okay, now here there are two things that happen. One is a fixed expense that comes in, and the other one is a variable expense. So maybe you plan your entire budget, and then in that there will be something as fixed expense and there will be something as a variable expense. Fixed expense are those which will remain the same for a period of time. Okay, so monthly rent will not change every month, it's going to remain the same, right? Or maybe some electricity bill, and on an average if you get a bill of 1,000, next month it suddenly won't become 2,000, it will remain maybe 1,100, 1,200 or 900 or so on. So these are like your fixed expenses. What a variable is something that is changing, okay, which will not remain the same. It is going to change maybe every day or every month. Okay, so end of the month she gets her 15,000 salary and she does all her payments. So she pays 4,500 for the rent, 1,500 for her traveling. Maybe someday that she got a lift from her friend and so on, and so she spent a little less over there. She planned to spend 2,000, but she spent actually 1,500. Recharges and all, she has done a little extra, so she spends a little more. And these are nothing but, okay, so first you have planned expense, which she has done start of the month, she has planned it. And finally an actual expense, when end of the month, when she gets the money and she really pays, that becomes an actual expense. So need to remember that when you plan for a budget, that whatever money it might be, maybe even 500 or 600 or even for the matter of 100 rupees, if you plan it, you will definitely end up doing a planned expense, that is first, and after you have actually done it, that becomes your actual expense. So what I want you to do right now is find out, okay, what is the difference between a planned expense and actual expense. I've told you, you can write it in the comment section just to brush up whether you remember or no. Okay, next is, in which field did Fareen overspend? Whatever she had planned and she spent a little more than what she had planned, that becomes an overspend. Okay, next is, in which areas did Fareen spend less than she planned? She planned to spend so much, but she spends a little lesser than that. Okay, so that becomes a less of spending. Okay, what is the difference between fixed and variable expense? Need to know, fixed expenses are those which do not change immediately, but they remain same for a period of time. Variable expenses can change every month or every day. Okay, I hope this video was very easy and clear to you about budget. Please make your own budget. It might be even very small amount, but do plan where and what you want to spend that money for. Just because you have money, don't spend it. Please be wise enough to spend in the right way and at the right time, when you really need, not want, when you really need to spend that money. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please